Hi, welcome to this Facebook Live. I'm so happy that you can join me here tonight. And as people come on the call, please be sure to say hi in the chat box so I can see who's joining in tonight. Last week when I did a Facebook Live, I said, wow, what a difference a week makes. And look at where things are at now, another week on. So, one of the things I was reflecting on this week, hi Danielle, thank you for joining. One of the things I was reflecting on this week is when you speak to people who've had a life-threatening illness, it really prompts them to take pause, to look at everything in their life and to really reevaluate what's important to them, what their priorities are. And what we're going through now as a global collective is, hi, thank you for joining the call, and please say hi in the chat box so I can see who's here. What we're facing collectively, globally, is a life-threatening disease. But if you look at those words, life, threatening, dis-ease, then whether we directly have been exposed to the coronavirus, whether indirectly our life and the way as we know it is being threatened, physically through lockdowns, inability to travel, economically through job impact, socially through not being able to interact with people in the same way, this coronavirus has sent a wave, a ripple across the planet that is putting our lives in a state of dis-ease on whatever level we might be experiencing it. And so it really gives us all an opportunity. Hi Haley, hi Jai, hi Margaret. It's really giving all of us an opportunity to take pause. In fact, it's giving us the vast majority of people, a forced opportunity to take pause and to really reflect on what is it that we value in life. We may be contemplating the coronavirus as a physical disease and how we might be vulnerable and exposed to that on a physical level. So that might cause us to reassess, to reevaluate what it is that we value and what our priorities are. We might be, economically in difficulty at the moment. But all of us are being given an opportunity. And I believe there are many opportunities that are being birthed right now for us to reevaluate, to look at what do we value, and to strip away a lot of the layers of illusion and glamour and falsehood and inadequacy and self-belief and limitations and the barriers we put between ourselves and the world around us that have really been limiting us in ways that now we're being given an opportunity to look at who am I with my modern conveniences, with all the things I feel entitled to, with all the things I take for granted perhaps, with these things being stripped away just through the simple act of staying home and being with self. What is that showing me about who I am? What is that giving me an opportunity to reflect upon in terms of who I am, why I'm here, and what's the real value I hold? If the value I hold is I'm not able to express it through going to work at the moment, maybe my job is not available at the moment. If I'm not able to express it through getting dressed and putting on my facade, my mask, my social glamour for the day, if I'm stuck at home in my tracky dacks and my fluffy slippers at the moment, if I'm not able to receive an income at the moment, so my value is not being reflected back to me financially, what is my real value? And for me personally, in the course of just the last week, on a personal level, so my daughter and her partner, they live together. Both of them were sent home today with no income. My mother is in quarantine. My eldest sister is a medical doctor, inundated with all the medical information that's coming in across the world, and pretty stressed with that. My son and his partner are working from home now. Within the space of the last week, I've had numerous clients who have either lost their job, their businesses have closed down, they've had to go into liquidation. Clients who are incredibly stressed and overwhelmed, even if their finances and their jobs aren't impacted, they're looking at what the risks are for their family, for their partner, for their children, for their parents, for their siblings, for nieces and nephews. They're stressed, we're anxious, we're overwhelmed, we're worried about the future. And yet we're all in this, most of us are in this odd position where we're being given this space, this solitude, and this time to reflect on who am I, why am I here right now, and perhaps what is my value. For me particularly, I decided the best thing I can do at the moment to contribute in a way that can be valuable is to help people through doing energy healing sessions, clearing sessions, group calls, bringing people together in community so that none of us are alone, so that everyone has an opportunity to get support and assistance, to be physically well, mentally, emotionally well, even in this time of isolation, where we can really connect on a very personal level, heart to heart, in a meaningful way. And the value I can contribute is to support you as part of my community and part of my family by giving back. And I believe it's an opportunity for all of us to look at how we can contribute at the moment. There's lots of waves of kindness that are spreading, rippling. I've been talking about the ripple effect. Lots of ripples of kindness spreading across the planet right now, with people doing random acts of kindness. I have my kindness mug tonight. That's the energy I've been focusing on today. And I believe that a lot of the kindness that is happening now is not only happening out of the kindness of people's hearts, but it's coming in response to not being able to give back in the ways that we usually do, that we receive our sense of personal value from, our sense of self-worth and self-value and self-belief from. If we can't give back in those usual ways, if we're housebound or not able to do what we normally do, have the normal social interactions, if we can't receive our sense of value in that way, we still have this innate desire to give back, to make a difference, to make a contribution, for our value to express itself. So over the coming weeks, every week on a Monday night, 8 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne time, I'm going to be doing a group healing session. I invite you to share these calls with your family, your friends, with anyone that might be able to benefit, neighbors, workmates, because we're all in this together. If there's two things that I'm being shown at the moment, it's that everything is interconnected. And so we're not just physically facing a health challenge, but financially we're facing a health challenge. So everything is interconnected. Socially, we're facing a health challenge. And if everything's interconnected, then we're all in this together. And those two things alone mean that each of us potentially has a ripple effect, and we get to choose what that ripple effect is, and to really see ourselves in a different light, perhaps without all the usual accoutrement, bling, layers, masks, facades, belief patterns, limiting perceptions about ourselves, that we actually get to see ourselves differently and see what is the real value we can contribute. And it may be through nothing that we do and everything that we be, as simply the person, the beautiful, divine individual that we are, and being the presence that we are for each other. So my question to you in pure presence is, how are you? How are you feeling at the moment? How is your family faring? The people that are close to you, your workmates, how is everyone feeling? And if you're on the call live, thank you for joining, first of all. The more we come together, the bigger the energy that we all get to feel and lean into and be uplifted and supported by. But if you are on the call live, please add in the chat box, how are you feeling at the moment? Hi Sandra, hi Sylvia. How are you feeling? Today in working with clients, speaking with clients, there's been a lot of tension, anxiety, a lot of knotted stomachs, a lot of fear and worry about what ifs. And the media is filled with what ifs at the moment. Every minute the what ifs are being updated. The looking forward and trying to control what's happening further down the path, looking at the what ifs. We're in a constant state of uncertainty around the what ifs. So how are you feeling? Feel free to add in the chat box. This is a group community coming together. And I think it's so important that we actually ask each other, how are you? Whether it's through the distance, the physical separation of through a computer screen or through a phone, or even perhaps through a doorway as we're dropping off food to a neighbor, that we ask each other, how are you? How are you managing? What's it like for you and your family, your friends, the people that you care about? Because if we don't allow that to be acknowledged and we keep up this tough exterior that, oh, everything's fine, I'm coping just fine, what happens is that emotional energy gets suppressed, it goes underneath, it gets held in the body, and then we start experiencing other problems, other difficulties, sleep disturbances, comfort eating. I noticed I've had a really clenched jaw, just keeping an eye on what's going on in the world, and I've been holding my tension in my jaw. Tight shoulders. In the morning I feel like, oh, I'd really like to have a massage right now. I can feel I've been holding tension in my body. Short tempers, having a short fuse with family members because we're not coping with things being out of our control. If we don't allow our emotions to come up and really acknowledge that we are human beings first and foremost before we are workers or family members or whatever roles we play in life, if we don't acknowledge our own humanness and what we're feeling, then that energy will start to kind of be diverted in ways that can be unconstructive, unproductive, and really cause other problems that we just don't need at the moment. Things are challenging enough. So how are you all feeling? Let me have a look. I'm going to pop on my glasses because this print is really small. Danielle, I've been feeling calm until today. Media reports got the better of me, and has made me worry about my job and schooling for my kids. I'm sure there are lots of people that are feeling like that, particularly with young children. I certainly find the younger my children are, or were, they're now adults, but the younger they were, the more I felt responsible for my children, and so the more tension I held around that. And yet I saw a post just before I started this Facebook Live from someone whose child was in year 12, so just finishing high school, and they felt really devastated that their child was not able to, experience that exhilaration of finishing school on a positive note. Margaret, you said isolated physically, but enjoying lots of FaceTime and phone calls of kindness. Yes. Mary Lou, at the moment it's hard to separate my feelings from those of others. The air is thick with anxiety. Oh my goodness, Mary Lou, absolutely spot on. Let me tell you how thick the air is at the moment with all of our collective energy. My dog Cho-Cho, several times a day, just over the last 3 days, has started crying. In the middle of the day, nothing's going on outside. There's no noises, at least that I can hear with my human ears. And he has been totally distressed. And my sense is, when I check in with him, is it's this collective build-up of mental and emotional energy, of stress and collective trauma going through this uncertain time. So that's one of the things I will be doing in the coming weeks, is really helping us to identify what's my energy and what's the energy that is more the mass consciousness or other people's energy, and learning how to deal with that as we're all going through our own individual roller coaster and uncertainties as our circumstances no doubt change over the days and the weeks ahead. That's a really important point, so thank you, Mary Lou, for contributing that. Danielle, I don't usually worry about money. However, today it was something I was really thinking about. Yeah, a client I was working with today in the US, she was really going through a lot of anxiety around the what ifs around income. What if I lose my job? What if I can't pay my bills? And I've had that same conversation with my daughter today, who has effectively lost her job with no income, and her partner the same thing. And one client had to leave the country last week because her job in hospitality was immediately ended, and she had no income here and no family support here. So I literally got a message from her today saying she's on her way home, flying through Abu Dhabi or through Dubai, and having to make really, sudden decisions because of financial situations. Haley, feeling weird combination of stress and deja vu with a sense of relief and gratitude for the forced space and distance from life. Yeah, if we can really see the value in it. I mean, how often do we say to ourselves, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time. I wish I could relax. I wish I had more space. I wish. Careful what we wish for. Maybe some of our wishes are coming true at the moment. And so what's the opportunity in that for us to use that time wisely? Sylvia, can't even articulate it. Feelings are changing so much throughout the day. Yeah, and one of the things for me I'm very aware of is, depending on what I'm doing during the day, my feelings will change. So depending on who I'm speaking with, depending on what I'm checking in terms of media headlines, where I'm looking, whether I'm looking globally at headlines, whether I'm looking at Australia-wide, statewide, what's happening in my local area. So I've actually made a decision to limit the number of times I actually check on those things, to use my time and my energy more wisely, to not to put my head in the sand, as was my habit for a very long time. So not to be afraid of actually checking in on what's going on, but not to do it so frequently that it's actually causing more disturbance and disruption and causing my energy to be all over the place in discombobulation. So using a little bit of self-discipline and discernment as to when I really need to check in with who and with what. So managing my energy that way. Thank you, Sylvia. James, watching media, concerned for what the doctors, nurses are up against, as well as many others, but they need to move away from the media I need to move away from the media to do my own processing. Exactly what we were just speaking of. Haley, my dog has been wearing in the house, which is unusual for him, and following me everywhere. Yep, they're totally picking up on this anxious energy. And, animals are a really good measure because they don't really operate in the same mental and emotional way. They're not watching the media headlines. They're not worried about where the next meal is going to come from. They're not worried about the state of our mortgage or even a health concern. They're not even worried about that. They're just reading energy in the moment, sentient energy. Not the energy of computers or phones or anything like that. They feel energy. So it's a really good indicator of we are swimming in this energy of mass consciousness, and that impacts us. Our domestic animals are showing that has the potential to impact us. And that's why part of what I'm going to be doing each week is helping us to manage our own energy so that the ripple effect we're having is contributing in a positive way, a calming, a soothing way, internally for ourselves first and foremost, and for the people around us and the world as a whole, and also helping us to manage our energy so we're not taking on that energy and adding to it, because it's a very big sea of energy that is kind of a bit dark at the moment, and that's okay. Life has contrasts of light and dark, and today is the eve of the new moon, so it's the dark night of the month, and it's a wonderful time to plant seeds in the soil where it's just dark, and over the course of the month to water those seeds. So the healing session that we're going to do in just a short minute, if you use that on a daily basis, or whenever you feel called to use it, there's no right or wrong there, but if you use that to water that seed of intent to perhaps have a more calming ripple effect in your own life and the world around you, then it's a good time to use this perhaps dark energy. It might feel a bit dark outside, it might feel a bit dark inside, to use it to plant new seeds so that we're really reaping positive energy, sowing seeds, reaping the rewards of actually creating a new ripple effect. And one of the bigger things I would say in this whole picture is there's lots of talk on different levels about the bigger picture opportunities for us to change as a society, a global society as a whole. And my personal hope is that we don't look at what we're going through at the moment and think, oh, I hope it's over really quickly so that we can get back to normal. This is a very unsettling time because we're meant to be unsettled. We're meant to re-evaluate, look at the value of our old patterns and change them, not just so we can get through this time of uncertainty, but so that we actually create whole new patterns, whole new habits going forward, that we potentially can create a whole new society, a way of being, a new world where there is a lot more kindness in humankind, where we rediscover the kind of humankind, where we rediscover our humanity and our interconnectedness in ways that actually it's not about getting over this really sticky dark period, it's actually about birthing a whole new energy and way of being, that we come out the other side of this tunnel, rebirthing, that what we rebirth is even better than we had before. So that's the much bigger opportunity, but as the weeks go on, we'll lean into that more. Meg, you're feeling surreal at the moment. Is very surreal because it's something that's happening on such a big wave and none of us have been through this before. Mary Lou, I think Mother Nature is enjoying the change too. Satellite pics show less pollution. Yes, definitely. The waterways in Venice have got not only fish, but dolphins. Dolphins, my goodness. Maybe we needed to give the earth a rest too. I think everything is taking pause at the moment. And one of the key things in that is to not panic in the pause. We have been so focused on cramming our lives with busyness. And modern digital technology has added to that immensely. We find it difficult to be without a device in our hand and constantly flicking through it. So we are constantly stimulated, overstimulated. We have lost our ability to be still. And here we are, collectively, facing this opportunity to go into stillness. And the earth is breathing a sigh of relief. And the clearing session we do tonight will be focused on each of us. Breathing that sigh of release, that we can release any of that tension we might be holding that has been keeping that toxicity in place within us, just like the waterways and the airways are starting to breathe a sigh of relief. And isn't it interesting that at the start of this year, these Facebook Lives, we started looking at what's going on globally through the elements of air. The air is becoming clearer. Water, the water is becoming cleaner. Fire, well, everything is kind of going through a bit of a searing heat at the moment. And earth, we're having to be still and grounded in a different way at the moment. So everything is happening on the macro and the micro, as above, so below, as below, so above. So that's a great comment, Mary Lou. Meg feeling as invisible and unmeasurable. It's surreal as in that way, absolutely. Danielle has asked the question, how can we protect ourselves from other people's energy? A few of my friends have lost their jobs, or their partners have lost their jobs, or they've had to close their businesses. How can we protect our energy? I will probably speak directly to that next week in terms of what we can do to take responsibility for our energy in a way that other people's energy doesn't affect us. So we can be present with people and where they might be experiencing difficulties and suffering and need our assistance and support, but we don't take on that energy, that we then join them in that distress. And, It's a bit like if someone's drowning in the sea, we can't help them, we can't rescue them by jumping in and joining them in the water. We will drown with them. But we can throw them a life buoy and offer them assistance that we can help lift them out of the water if they grab a hold of the life buoy. Well, what we're doing tonight by actually releasing some of the stress we might be carrying and actually bringing light in, we become more light-filled. And as a result, the ripple effect that we're giving out will be assisting those that need our support. And in the process, our energy will become stronger so that we're not quite so directly affected by taking on other people's energy. The whole thing is actually about ensuring that our energy is strong and sealed and protected, not in the sense of protection, I have to ward off other people's energy, but actually we're taking responsibility for our personal energy being whole and complete. That we're in that state of wholeness in our own, not just physically, but in our energy field, and that way we can be present. If we're anchored and grounded in our energy, we can be present with others without taking on their energy. So I will be speaking more to that next week, Danielle, next Monday night. But for this week, what I'd like to do now, unless anyone has anything else to add, thank you so much for contributing, because this is about, we're all in this together. So these calls are pointless if you guys don't, join me in being real together. That's the best way we can support each other. And I will take these calls to Zoom. I keep saying that once we've just got a few more people that are familiar with these calls being done. So that when we go to Zoom, we can see each other and really, connect even more so on a personal level. So what I'd like to do is take you through an energy clearing process. One of the things that is happening for all of us collectively at the moment is that we are in a bit of shock. Gosh, look at how rapidly things have transpired that, okay, we may not feel, we might feel directly threatened by a virus that we might get sick, but we might not be feeling so threatened in that way. Maybe we feel like, physically we're strong, we're not necessarily at risk, but socially we're being affected, financially everyone's going to feel it in some way, shape or form. So we're all in a bit of state of shock in terms of, look at how quickly things have changed. It's kind of like as if there was a giant earthquake that's just rippled across the planet. And isn't it interesting that the Earth has been releasing energy through earthquakes in Croatia? There was one off the coast of Bali, and I believe perhaps in Salt Lake City. I might have that slightly incorrect, but the Earth has been releasing a lot of our stress energy at the moment through earthquakes. So how about we actually release the energy and clear that ourselves? So what I'm going to do is actually share with you some of the release points to use on your body that are connected with the energy lines or the meridians in the body that hold some of these energies we're experiencing at the moment. Shock, anxiety, fear, worry about the future, the what ifs, lack of control. And there's specific energy lines that run through your body. Any of you who have worked with me as clients, you'll be familiar that I use different release points on the body, tapping. And what that is doing is it's actually sending a vibrational wave through that energy line to enable the energy that's become stuck to move on, to actually clear out. So at the moment, as we're going through mental and emotional stress and trauma individually and collectively, we experience that in the body. Our body is the physical storehouse of everything that we're experiencing. And so if we don't allow that energy to come out, and certainly talking about it and expressing our feelings is an important part. That's why, it's great that you guys have been sharing tonight. But also, if we don't release it physically, then that can get locked in the body. Now, of course, things like exercise are so important at the moment that we do, wherever possible, get out into the fresh air, go for a walk, get the sunshine on our skin. Again, the elements, grounding ourselves with every step on the earth, going for a walk. But even if we can't get outside, to do physical exercise is really important in terms of releasing the stress hormones. But what I'm talking about here is before we even activate the stress hormones, we have a stress response that goes through the body, and it runs through these subtle energy lines of the body called meridians. So I'm going to share with you what some of these release points are and how you can actually work with them. So all it takes is your 2 fingers tapping, just at sort of like that kind of a tapping on different release points. And the main release points that are relevant for us at the moment is up here at the beginning of the eyebrows. This is the beginning of the bladder meridian. Outside, so this is to do with trauma and fear and frustration and irritability if you're feeling irritable at the moment. This point here on the outside edge of the eyes, that's to do with the gallbladder meridian, and that's to do with our vision for the future. It's to do with anger and rage. It's also to do with uncertainty and lack of control. Then we have a release point here on the middle of the cheekbones underneath the eyes. That's to do with the stomach meridian. That's to do with everything that we're digesting at the moment, everything that we're processing, everything that we're trying to integrate at the moment. And it's also to do with disappointment. So there's a lot of disappointment that we're experiencing at the moment in terms of having to adjust to the changes. This point here is to do with our governor meridian, which is runs over top of the head and down the spine, and that's to do with our feeling of support, our stability in the world. And this point here underneath the bottom lip, that's to do with our central meridian, which is kind of the combination of everything. It's like the zipper that zips up. When we zip up, we're good to go. But at the moment, that energy is overloaded and it's zipped down. So this is the point for overwhelm. Particularly when the emotional energy is rising up and we have the temptation, nope, I'm going to hold it together, I'm fine, go into a little bit of denial. Or if we're really not coping and we're drowning in our emotions, this is a great release point to tap on here, overwhelm. And this point here, this is our kidney meridian. So the kidneys look after fear, stress, anxiety, worry, trauma. A big thing that's happening for a lot of people at the moment is if you've experienced any trauma on any level at any point during your life, and that hasn't been fully released from the body or our emotional body or our mental body, then that's kind of being activated at the moment. So I've seen quite a few people who specialize in trauma, and they're finding that a lot of people are instantly going back into that trauma state because of what's going on the planet. So this kidney meridian point is really useful to tap on. And then this point here is the spleen meridian. It's just on the side of the body where the bra line is on women, a little bit below the armpit. This point is the spleen meridian, and that's to do with being in the now and worries about the future. It's also to do with joy. So this is a great point to tap on. And then this point, if you're experiencing any sadness, one of the clients I was working with today was feeling sad about what's happening at the moment on either hand or both hands. So that's the outside edge. That's to do with the small intestine meridian, and it's the outside edge of the pinky, the little finger. And the outside edge of your index finger, this is to do with our large intestine, and that's very much connected with our sense of self-worth and our sense of strength and confidence and power, which obviously is a bit shaken for a lot of us at the moment. So either hand or both. And then the outside edge of the thumb. This is our lung meridian. Now, the first thing that changes when we're stressed is our ability to breathe. Our breathing changes, our breathing pattern and rhythm changes. Lung is also to do with holding on, both the lung and the large intestine. These two work together, holding on and letting go. So just being able to let go of the stress. It's also to do with grief. So, there's a lot of loss at the moment that's to do with grief, losing some of our way of life, losing some of our social contact, losing things financially. So there's quite a bit of loss, as well as obviously fears and concerns for health loss. Losing our routine. So this thumb meridian is a good point to tap. And then we come back to the kidney meridian. So I'm going to give you this sequence again, but I just want to share with you what the different points are and what they relate to so that you can watch this video again and you can use any of these release points yourself at any time. So you might be feeling overwhelmed just in the moment and you just find yourself, let me just take a breath here and release some of that energy out of that energy line. It's a bit like a steam engine. When the steam builds up and it's got nowhere to go, it gets stuck and it's just boiling underneath. But when you tap on this release point, it's like opening the valve on a steam engine. The energy can come up and out. Suddenly you're actually feeling okay, not quite so overwhelmed, or having difficulty breathing. So I'm going to tap on my thumb, the lung meridian. Or I'm starting to feel a bit helpless here. I'm going to tap on the large intestine meridian. Or I'm really disappointed at what's going on politically, or the way people are treating each other, or what I just saw in the supermarket, or some of the things that are happening. Or I'm feeling really tense because things are really out of my control at the moment. I don't quite know how to cope with it. One other point I want to share with you before I go through the whole sequence with you is this point here. So it's like halfway along the outside edge of the palm. And this point is really helpful if at any time you're using any of this tapping, or you're just, kind of in an emotional state and you find that you're stuck, like really stuck, like stubborn, stuck, things aren't shifting, the energy's not releasing. This is this point where we're like really stuck in things and it like shifts the energy. So this is a great point, again, either hand to be tapping on. It gets things unstuck. And then we can use the release points. So with that kind of background explanation, let me take you through a tapping sequence that we can all use at the moment just to really help disperse some of the tension, the stress, the anxiety, the worry that we might be feeling at the moment. So feel free to join with me at home, and if you're watching this recording afterwards, make sure you join with as well. So you can close your eyes as you're doing this. I'm very used to closing my eyes. So just tap at the beginning of your eyebrows above your nose and just really allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling at the moment, the tension, the anxiety, the worry, concern about health, about jobs, about income, finances, your children, family members, loved ones overseas. And then tap on the outside edge of your eyes, just really allowing yourself to feel that stress, that worry, concern. Remembering to breathe as you do. And tap underneath your eyes on the middle of your cheekbones. Just really allowing yourself to feel any tension, fears, worries, concerns. And then just one hand, tap underneath your nose, above your top lip. Taking a deep breath in as you do and really letting it out. And tap underneath your bottom lip. Sighing it out, letting go of that overwhelm. And tap underneath your collarbones. Just allowing yourself to feel any of the fear at the moment. Any fear you might be carrying for other people or might have taken on from other people. And then we're just going to get things unstuck. We're going to tap on the outside edge of your hand where you'd sort of karate chop a piece of wood. And swap hands. I like to do both sides. It's not necessary. Just one side is fine. I like to do both. And then tap under your collarbones again. And then we're going to tap underneath the armpits on the side of the body where the rib cage is. Just acknowledging any concerns we might have about the future, the uncertainty at the moment, any fears, any worries. And then tap on the outside edge of your little finger and even the inside edge of your little finger. This one is the heart meridian, so that connects with our sense of love and connection. And then tap on the outside edge of your first finger, your index finger, just really connecting with yourself, and the outside edge of your thumb. And then I like to repeat it on the other side, so the outside edge of your little finger, Just acknowledging any sadness you might feel, the inside edge of your little finger. Maybe even any hurt that you might be feeling at the moment. Maybe it's bringing up old hurts. This is the point to tap. And the outside edge of your first finger, your index finger, and then your thumb, and then under your collarbones. And then just rest your hands, close your eyes, notice how that feels. Notice any tension in your body. Notice the feelings. Maybe things are feeling a little bit more relaxed, a little bit lighter. So we've just done one round of tapping, and then what I'd like you to do is we're going to repeat that round. So we're going to start tapping the beginning of your eyebrows, and as we do, we're just going to affirm some statements that really help anchor and ground us. So even if I'm feeling stressed, I know that right now my body is safe and well. Tap on the outside edge of your eyes. Even if I'm feeling a bit anxious, I know that right now I'm safe, I'm okay, everything is all right. Tap underneath your eyes. Even if things feel uncertain, I know that I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm well, I'm loved. Tap under your nose. Regardless of what is or isn't going on at the moment, it's okay for me to be here. Tap under your bottom lip. Regardless of what is or isn't going on at the moment, I know that I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm well. Tap under your armpits. It's safe for me to be here. I know that I am loved, that I'll be okay, that all is well. And tap on the outside edge of your little finger, and the inside edge, and your first finger. Even if I'm feeling stressed or anxious, I know that I am safe and well. It's okay for me to be here. And tap on your thumb. And swap hands, the other little finger on the outside edge, and the inside edge, and your first finger, and your thumb. And then just tap on your collarbones. Even if I'm feeling stressed or anxious, I fully love and accept myself exactly as I am. And I know that we all cope the best way we know how, all things considered. And I'm thankful that I'm here, that I have people I love that are in my life that care about me. And that I have value to bring into the world right now, just simply by being here. And then just rest your hands. Allow yourself to be here. And just notice how that feels. Just letting all the tension go. And then what I'd like you to do is just imagine, with each breath, just breathing light into your body. Beautiful, clear, radiant light. Just breathing it into your body. Filling your body with light. And then imagine a beautiful blue colored light. With each breath, just imagine breathing that blue colored light into your body wherever healing is needed. That blue colored light is a beautiful healing energy. So just imagine with your breath taking that healing energy to wherever it needs to go within your body. Beautiful, healing blue energy. Just inviting it to fill your body, to replenish all your cells with beautiful healing energy. And as you do, imagine breathing that blue colored light, blue colored energy, even beyond your body to fill your energy field, that energy field that surrounds your physical body, that extends about 1 meter or 3 feet in all directions. Just imagine that gently with each breath, becoming more and more filled with that beautiful blue healing energy. And then just check in with your body and ask your body if there's anything else that it needs. Maybe there's a different colored energy, different colored light that it needs. Maybe a beautiful gold or a pink or a green colored energy. Whatever it is, just allow that to come into your body wherever it needs to go. Maybe it's a particular sound. Maybe it's a simple message like, water, I need more hydration. Whatever it is, just imagine giving that to your body, to your energy field, wherever it needs to go. And then just allow that energy within you to anchor and ground into the earth, that you're fully here in the now, fully present. Fully anchored and grounded in your being, in the here and the now. And then just take a couple of slow, deep breaths, giving your fingers and toes a bit of a wriggle, having a bit of a stretch. As you slowly open your eyes whenever you feel ready. And just notice how that feels. And if you're on the call live, if you could add just a word or two in the chat box to let me know how that felt for you, or what was the difference you might have noticed, or just how you're feeling now. Just so that we can all check in together. The power of doing these group calls is that when we can do this together, the energy combines and it's greater than what we might experience on our own. So there truly is value. Again, value, we're going to be looking at that a lot more. But there truly is value in coming together to do this healing together. So any comments in the chat box? How are you all feeling? There's quite a few on the call now. What was that like for you? How are you feeling? Feeling lighter, thank you Sylvia. Calming, Meg. A sense of calm, Danielle. Grounded, excellent. Robin, much more relaxed, thank you. Thank you. Malaya, that was stunning, and I need my glasses. Thank you, Malaya. She said that was stunning, and so was waking up, seeing your beautiful face afterwards. I don't know, Malaya, whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. Thank you so much. Feeling great, uplifted, excellent. Haley, so floaty and relieved. Thank you. Relief is always a great indicator. When we're feeling a sense of relief, it means we've let go. Our energy is lighter, and that which we were carrying before is no longer a burden. So relief is beautiful. Pina, feeling relaxed and calm. Thank you, Pina. I'm certainly feeling anchored and grounded for being able to share this with you. And for me, that's real confirmation that when we're able to contribute what our value is, we have a greater sense of purpose. And I would strongly say to you, Margaret, you're feeling relaxed, excellent, thank you. I would strongly say to you that anyone that is on the planet right now is on the planet for a reason. You have something of value to contribute. And like I said before, that contribution may simply be you being you and showing up in whatever ways you can, even if it's at the end of a phone at the moment, showing up and asking someone else, how are you feeling? That might be the greatest value you contribute. Or just simply showing up with a smiling face, showing up with an open heart, showing up with a cup of kindness. showing up with just the beauty that is you. Each of us is a divine being, and we're here to make this garden that bit more beautiful and richer because each of us is a unique being. So I encourage you to use this time, this quiet time, if you're not in the throes of working in some of the busy services at the moment, to use the stillness to feel your own beauty, and use the tools that I've given you today. If you find that your energy is going a bit up and down, if you feel that you're getting stressed or anxious or worried, use the tools that I've given you today. They are so powerful. They help clear out that energy and help you come back to yourself. And that's really the best way that we can all contribute to the energy on the planet at the moment, is to come back to ourself, our true self, and just be in that energy. And the word just is so unjustified in that sense, in the sense of it is not just your energy, it is your energy. And that's the greatest contribution you can make, is being in your energy. And so letting go of the stress, the anxiety, and dispersing that, clearing that out, is the greatest service we can do in the world at the moment, because that sends out a calming ripple effect in our little part of the world, joins up with the greater mass consciousness of humankind, and that is healing in and of itself. Thank you, Mish. And Amy, thank you, feeling calm and relaxed. Beautiful. So I hope you found this helpful tonight. Next week it will be a shorter conversation, but every week my intent is to show up and to be of service and of value, to assist everyone who is going through this at the moment in whatever ways I can, whatever ways Spirit is prompting me to show up. And again, let's join together next Monday night. I thank you so much for joining me tonight and bringing your beautiful presence. It has uplifted me and everyone else on the call and everyone that listens to this recording afterwards. And if you have any questions or any difficulties during the week, please send me an email, pick up the phone, call me. Ask for assistance and support, if not from myself, those around you or wherever you might feel it is needed. We are all in this together. And if we can birth a real, connected, cooperative, collaborative, community understanding of what that means, then our world will be all the better for us going through this experience together. So thank you, take care, see you next week. Bye for now.